I think we'll get started. I'm still admitting a few more people as we go through, but welcome everybody. Thank you so much for your time today. It's great to see so many of you online. I hope that you will find this webinar useful as we grow and learn together in this time of school closure. Can everyone hear me okay? Could you just type in the chat box so that I know that you can? Just type okay, that would be great. Fantastic, lovely. If you haven't already done so, can you just turn off your video? I have also muted your mics just so that there's not too much distraction as we go through this webinar. If you do want to say anything at all throughout the webinar, you're more than welcome. So please just let me know first in your chat box and then unmute your mic to speak. There will be opportunities to share your screens as well and your ideas later in the webinar. So this is my second webinar about online home learning in the EYFS. It has now been renamed as a virtual school experience, following on from guidance from head office. I really love this title as it highlights the fact that our approach during this time is about the whole child, their whole school experience, and that fits so well with what we're trying to achieve with our youngest children in our North Anglia schools. The fact that holistic education is right at the heart of our virtual school, and we are ensuring that our students are looked after academically, physically, creatively, and socially is so important, especially at this difficult time. So this webinar does build on the previous webinar, but if you didn't attend that one, it will still completely make sense as a standalone webinar too, so please don't worry. This webinar will be about half an hour to 40 minutes long, and the purpose of it is to share good practice and to collaborate. As I did last time, I will offer a chance to participate both throughout this webinar and after through a Padlet that I have set up. The QR code to access this Padlet is on this slide here, and I'll share it later as well. So as before, this webinar shares the approach that we have had linked to our virtual school experience for children in the EYFS. We are certainly not saying that our way is the only way, or that we are doing things perfectly, but what we are doing is working for the children in our school, and we are proud of what we have achieved so far. I decided to look at this webinar through a slightly different lens, looking at an individual child. So Charlotte's individual learning journey will look very different to every other child in our school, as we have taken a personalised approach to our virtual school experience. But I thought by sharing one specific child's home learning, it can bring the process to life and will hopefully show the process we have followed to develop our virtual school. My hope is that sharing Charlotte's journey will inspire some thought and reflection and collaboration, so that we can all support each other and all our wonderful children at this difficult and very unusual time. So Charlotte is pictured here. She's a lovely, lovely little girl. She's 5 years old and she is in our reception class at North Anglia International School in Hong Kong. Her class teacher is Miss Fletcher, who you will be seeing a little bit more of as we go through the slides. Welcome if you've just joined. Thank you so much for joining us today. For those of you listening for the first time, my name is Emma Coleman, and I am the head of campus in Sai Kung at North Anglia International School, Hong Kong, and I'm the Early Years Foundation Stage Teaching Fellow for NAU as well. The photo here is one of our classrooms in school, and as you can see, it's very light, very engaging, very open and very play-based. And it is this play-based approach that we have tried hard to maintain even when working remotely. This has been a very challenging time, and it's definitely had its ups and downs. However, we have also seen this time as an opportunity for personal and professional growth, and have tried to make the most out of everything. Our staff here in Sai Kung and in Hong Kong have been absolutely incredible, and it has been the staff attitude throughout all of this that has allowed us to continue to provide a high quality education for our wonderful children. So when we first started our home learning, we wanted to make sure that it was aligned with our vision for teaching and learning, which is to offer children play-based, practical and personalised learning experiences that excite and motivate them. I shared this quote last time, so I'm sorry if you have seen it before, but I do love this quote, and it is one that I hold so dear in the classroom. But it did strike me that it is vitally important now to remember this quote and make sure that what we are offering our children remotely is still suitable, appropriate, meaningful, exciting, engaging and fun, and most importantly, right for their age and stage in development. It is so important at this time and always that we hold the children's well-being at the centre of our approach to teaching and learning, whether that be remotely or face-to-face. So the webinar from last time was focused around 5 Ps, that our home learning was play-based, it was practical, it was purposeful, personalised, and it ensured progression for all of our children. If you would like to access that first webinar, a recording of it is saved on NAU in the webinar archive. But as I mentioned before, it really doesn't matter if you didn't log on to that webinar. But if you did, this session will build on what was talked about last time, linked to those 5 Ps. So in our school, we use a combination of technology to aid our home learning. Each week, all our home learning is posted on our platform Firefly. And within this, there are videos, activities, Padlets, ideas and questions to guide children and their parents through this new learning journey. Teachers send their class parents an email on a Monday explaining the learning that will be available for the week, and then share the link to the week's Firefly page. Some children are given additional support to access this home learning, for example, maybe a timetable or some visual cues or additional supporting resources. But others, like Charlotte, have found it more effective to dip in and out of the learning throughout the week as it suits them. And this short video will show you a typical Firefly page. So as you can see, there's a wide variety of activities and learning for Charlotte to do throughout the week. And she uses her week to play and learn. And she posts any of her learning on our online learning journal, Tapestry. So the most important part of this whole process has always been the children's well-being. We know that children feel safe, secure, happy and fulfilled when they are playing. Therefore, we have ensured that the virtual school experience that is offered to our children in the early years has a big focus on play. As well as giving the children lots of playful learning, we have also been there to help parents learn more about how to support their child's play at home. Offering top tips and advice to parents linked to play is an important part of the experience that we are offering. It has been so important to us that children know why they are learning. This is essential in school and probably even more so from home. So giving children a purpose for learning has been key. This is a wonderful example of how we gave Charlotte a purpose for writing by asking her to write to her teacher, Miss Fletcher. The feedback from her teacher further heightened this sense of purpose and sense of achievement for Charlotte and her family.
Hi Charlotte. Miss Fletcher is so happy because look what I just received in the post. Miss Fiona just gave this to me and it came today, I think. And I'm so happy because I haven't received a letter in the post for a long time, because people usually write an email or a message now, but getting a letter in the post is so special. So thank you so much indeed. And I love the way you use your phonic sounds to write the words in the letter, and it's all by yourself, so good girl. And you've been doing lots of other writing and maths and making food. You've been so busy. So I want to just say well done and keep it up. And I look forward to seeing you as soon as we can. And thank you to Mummy and Daddy for helping you lots at home. And keep safe and well. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
So Charlotte is in reception, and as well as a range of play-based activities for Charlotte, the children in reception are set weekly challenges in maths and in phonics, which are pitched at their own level of learning. The children then complete the learning at their appropriate level and add their learning to Tapestry, our online learning journal. Tapestry allows the children to share photos, videos and comments with their teacher, and allows them to stay connected and reassured even at this difficult time. The video I will play is the differentiated maths learning that is posted on Firefly, and the photos and the short clip are of Charlotte completing some of this differentiated maths learning from home. All the maths learning planned is practical and has a big focus on problem solving and using play-based learning to understand mathematical concepts.
Good morning, reception, and welcome to Mrs. Cunningham's lesson on capacity. Can you see? Good job. Now, if I look carefully, I've got two different size containers, but they were both 100 millilitres. Which one does it look would hold the most? Which one looks as though it could hold more? Can you guess?
And here's Charlotte's response.
That is the biggest one. That can put more water in it. Whoops!
Isn't she wonderful? So phonics is also differentiated, as the children in reception are at very different stages in their phonics learning. Some children also receive individual phonics support or challenge if they fall outside the differentiated levels of learning. We know that children learn and develop at very different rates, and therefore supporting and challenging each child at their own level is really crucial to ensure progress, and most importantly, a sense of achievement, pride and self-assurance. So here is an example of the phonics learning that Charlotte can access.
Good morning, phonics class. How are you? Happy Monday from Miss Fletcher and from Bo. I wanted to say hello to you and well done on all of your letter writing you did last week, and you're carrying on with your blending and your segmenting to read and write words. We get so happy.
So for me, a strength of our virtual school experience so far has been the personalised approach that we have taken, ensuring that each individual child gets the support they need. Personalised learning has been done through responding to each family in a unique way, as we would do in school, Emails, phone calls, tapestry responses from teachers and TLAs, and video feedback like the one I'll show you now have been essential to help build this personalised approach.
Charlotte, thank you for all of your work you've been doing. You are so busy, it's amazing. So you've been doing really, really good writing, but sometimes I've seen that there's a sound you're not sure of in the middle of a word. And it's so tricky. There's some of the sounds like this, ah, I, oh, ah. And those sounds all sound really similar. I'm just going to show you, so when you're doing writing, how to make it easier for you, okay? So if you're writing something like bag, okay, you come to school with a bag on your back, and you write like this. G. Okay, have a little look over it. And if you read it again with each sound like this, b, g, bear, egg. Have a think, is that the right word? Do I have a bag on my back? I'm just going to do another video because the time's going to run out on this one, okay?
So Charlotte has loads of practical learning that allows her to explore, investigate and play. She posts her practical learning on Tapestry and her teacher responds with next steps, advice or guidance where appropriate. And you can see this from the middle picture here, where Charlotte's mum has posted that she's really loving learning about the time, but is raising questions about quarter two and past. So her teacher then posts advice and links to further materials to support Charlotte in the next part of her learning journey. Charlotte has also enjoyed lots of small world play, junk modelling, art projects, and loads of imaginary play. So I'm just going to stop here to see if anyone would like to share some practical learning with us all. If you do, please could you just type that you want to in the chat box and let me know if you would like to speak or if you would like to share your screen. I will then accommodate this. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. We have got the Padlet to share afterwards, so please don't feel any pressure. But if you would like to share, that would be lovely. Can you just let me know now in the chat box? Okay, super. We'll carry on through, and then if anyone wants to share at a later point, you are so welcome, so please do let me know. An example of some practical learning from our school, and one that Charlotte particularly enjoyed, was an ice experiment where Charlotte was given the challenge of finding out the best way to melt ice. She spent such a long time exploring, investigating and finding out more, and days about different ways that she had approached this investigation, and she loved being a scientist during this time. Her teacher then sent her a message to keep Charlotte's motivation and to keep her hooked into this aspect of learning that she had really enjoyed, just as she would in school. As with the ice experiment in the previous slide, we have been very conscious to give parents a virtual school experience that can be successfully completed at home with resources that are easily found there. So we have made sure that learning can be completed with things easily found at home. For example, lots of cooking, baking, investigating using things found in the home, loads of activities with natural materials, and generic play-based learning, for example, small world, role play, that can be adapted to fit with the resources that different have in their different environments. Charlotte has been posting lots of her learning on Tapestry for her teacher and TLA, and has also been posting on the Reception Year Group Padlet as well, to show her friends her learning. Tapestry is a personal learning journal just for Charlotte, which she loves because she gets the individual feedback and encouragement from her teacher and TLA. But for many children, posting on the Padlet has been equally enjoyable, as it gives them the opportunity to see what their friends are doing and to comment on their friends' learning posts too. So we have introduced video conferencing in the last 2 weeks as part of our virtual school experience, as we found that although the children connected to their teachers, they were really missing that actual interaction that happens so much of the day when the children are in school. So to help us prepare for the video conferencing, we asked the parents to talk through our e-citizenship code of conduct with their children. We also asked parents to help prepare their child for the video conference by getting some of their favourite toys or some of their favourite home learning ready to share with the class teacher. This allowed children to feel comfortable, confident and assured when the video conference began. So here's Charlotte preparing for her video conference by choosing her favourite toy to share with her class teacher.
Hello, Miss Fletcher. This is one of my favourite toys.
What is it? This week we have also launched group video conferences where children are in a small group discussing a philosophy for children question. Here are some examples of the P4C questions we have used to prompt discussions. These questions are also used in school and we really love using them. So giving the children these questions before the video conference and using these questions that they are already familiar with has allowed the children to feel confident, ready for their video call with their friends. They have absolutely loved this aspect of their virtual school experience, and we are now looking to build on this. We have made a conscious decision to stay away from live teaching for our youngest children, as we felt very strongly that this was really not appropriate for them. However, video conferencing in this way has allowed us to give children that interactivity that they were so missing.
Hello, Miss.
Though we have had to put our assemblies on hold for now because staff are not allowed to work in school at the moment, we're all working from home. When we did have assemblies, they did have a big impact on morale and engagement for the children. The assemblies each week had a theme, for example, feeling proud, being curious, and they also had Star of the Week certificates awarded, as we do in school, and house point totals shared, which the children absolutely love. We are now thinking about more creative ways to keep assemblies going for now, as staff are no longer in school either. So we will keep you posted on our progress with this and would really welcome any ideas that you have to help support and maintain children's motivation. I'm just seeing a few questions coming through. So what I will do is I'll wait till the end and then I will answer all of those questions. Thank you so much for the questions so far though. So a few extra bits for Charlotte. Again, these aspects have had to stop for now, unfortunately, but when staff were in school, we created some curiosity cubes for the children, which were packed full of things to support the children's curiosity. For example, some games, open-ended resources, and craft materials. The children absolutely love them, and we hope we can relaunch this aspect of our virtual school soon. This idea was taken from the wonderful staff in the North Anglia school in Vietnam, who had created and given out splat boxes to their children. This amazing idea really inspired us and has had such a big impact on the children here, on their well-being and their learning. So thank you so much to all our colleagues in Vietnam. In addition to this, and something extra for our children included story time with some of our leaders in school. For example, our principal read Monkey Puzzle to the children, which they loved. We've also launched special days linked to World Book Day, World Water Day and Steam Day to help give children something a little bit extra and a little bit different during this time. So I'll pause here again to see if anyone would like to share anything else. If you do, please let me know in the chat box. I've just seen that Meg in Bangkok has sent home open-ended resource bag called Treasure Bags. That's a fantastic idea. I love that. Okay, no problem again. What we'll do is we'll share the Padlet at the end and after this so that we can all share that learning following the webinar. So it has been difficult to track children's progress during this time, as it is often unclear whether a child has been doing something independently or not. But where it is clear that the learning is secure and independent, teachers have been tagging objectives to observations so that this can be pulled through to the data on Tapestry. Teachers have also been very clear with parents about next steps in learning, and have also been keeping a record of what children have been learning remotely and what their next steps might be when they get back to school. This information is being recorded on a working document that is edited regularly by teachers and TLAs to help track children's progress and development even when we are not with them in person. Continuing to track children and their ongoing development will hopefully support us when they do come back to school, and it should make it easier to hit the ground running when we do all return. End of year data and reporting is somewhat unknown at the moment, and I do plan to run another webinar in the near future that's dedicated to this area because I think it will be quite tricky, and therefore it will be so important that we share and collaborate on this specific aspect to make sure we get it right for all of our children. For colleagues following the Early Years Foundation Stage framework from England, there will be no profile this year, so no need to input the data. However, we still are responsible for the children and their progress and development, so we will need to be thinking really creatively about alternatives. One thing we have started to create in our school is a pupil progress review, a PPR, for school closure, which gives teachers and TLAs prompts so that they can start to think about the progress and development of their children and the support they need remotely now and what they will need in person when they return to school. So questions like, what have they done at home? What are their current gaps in learning? How will we support them remotely? How will we support them when they're back in school? And these questions are asked for all the different areas of learning within our curriculum, starting with the prime areas of personal, social and emotional development, communication and language, and physical development as well. As I say, I will make sure there is a platform for collaboration linked to this in the near future. But if anybody has anything else they're currently working on linked to this aspect of data and reporting, could you let me know now in the chat box? And I can see a few more questions coming through, so I will address those at the end. So some next steps for our school are making sure that we do more for our children linked specifically to well-being. Well-being is embedded in all we have done when building our virtual school experience and has been a central driver, but it has not really been that explicit so far. So we will look now into how we can make well-being more explicit within our programme. Parents' workshops, we really want to run lots of workshops for parents to support them. And I've got a Facebook Live interview planned shortly, linked to a workshop. This will be the first of many that hopefully will support our parents with top tips for home learning. Our Nord School in Budapest has already been offering some wonderful support to parents and have kindly shared their first parent information session with us that helps to support parents with play. So thank you for that. Your ideas were absolutely fantastic. Webinars, as I mentioned previously, I will look to continue this collaboration. So watch this space and please do let me know if you need anything more specific, and I will look to support in any way I can. And the final step is one that I think is so important as we look to continue to reflect and refine as we go through the next few weeks and potentially next few months. Just making sure we're listening to parents, staff and children and using this data so consciously and so thoughtfully to adapt our virtual school experience so it can be the best it can be. So it is important that at this time teachers and TLAs are given opportunities for professional growth. In our school we put together some research and reflection tasks to further our learning linked to key aspects of EYFS pedagogy. There are 3 weeks of research and reflection available on NAU to anybody in a Nord school in the general discussion section of the EYFS part of NAU. If you or your colleagues are interested, please feel free to access those resources. I have also facilitated some training linked to other key areas of teaching and learning that have been asked for by our teachers and TLAs. For example, behaviour management, ASM support, phonics teaching and safeguarding, and I will continue to ask staff in our school about any further training that they would like during this time. NAU has also been signposted to help staff in school learn more about EAL learners linked to our whole school focus for this year. So I'll start again. I will address the questions that I've already had, but if you do have any questions or anything you would like to say, please do let me know in the chat box, and unmute your mic.
3 minutes on this webinar.
Okay, so questions. Let me just go back, sorry. Whether all children are, so Maria has asked whether all children are as engaged as Charlotte. No, Charlotte is a very, very good example. We have got lots of children like Charlotte out there who are really keen on our learning experience. Some children are needing a little bit more support with it, but again, it goes back to that personalised learning, making sure that we're checking in with the different individual families to help support and guide them at this time. Alex has asked, why did you feel it was not appropriate to have live lessons? We just felt like that at this age, we didn't want our children to be on the screen for too long. We wanted to give them really practical, purposeful and play-based activities that they could do away from the screen. So that's why we made that decision. It's not saying that we will never do that, but for now, the opportunities that we're giving them are working, and that with the video conferencing has really, really helped. Helen, are teachers in your school teaching from campus? So yes, we were teaching from campus. We were allowed into school. However, things have changed a little bit in Hong Kong in the last week, and we have now been asked to work from home. So we're now rethinking our strategy and thinking about ways forward as we are not able to collaborate in person anymore. Harry has asked, are you able to post videos on Tapestry as responses? Yes, this is the most powerful way that we're feeding back to children. Giving them that video feedback is just so wonderful and really does motivate and encourage them. So I would say videos on Tapestry, as well as written comments and comments, have been really, really successful. Meg telling us about the treasure bags, that's fantastic. What reading scheme do you use and send home? So we've done some online things like Oxford Owl has been really, really good. Epic Reading has been fantastic. Reading Eggs as well has really supported that. And then children, when they could come into school, we're using our homeschool books, which come from a different range of reading schemes. In the last webinar, you described supporting parents in small world play. Yes, super. I think that would probably be a whole different webinar about small world play. So Meg in Bangkok, I will email you some ideas for now for small world play, and I'll look to maybe do a webinar all about that another time, because small world play is just massive, isn't it? We could talk about that all day. Thank you for your question though. Maria has shared that they're scanning guided reading books and sharing these on Seesaw. That's a brilliant idea. I will definitely be stealing that idea. Thank you, Maria. Brilliant idea. And Meg in Bangkok has said we use Bug Club and Epic online. Yeah, that we found those really, really well, actually. Helen's asking, do all your students participate? Most of them. We've got a really, really high rate of student participation, and so that's fantastic. And then any children who are not participating or who go a little bit quiet, we offer them personalised emails and phone calls and video calls just to try to support those families and that child if things have gone a little bit quiet for that child. But most of our families have been amazing and logged on and have been really, really engaged. Yes, I can share the document with you, the PPR document, of course I can. I will send that round when I send round everything else. And Rebecca said you use Class Dojo for response videos. I think that's a great idea. Class Dojo can be really, really powerful. So that's a great idea. Thank you for sharing, Rebecca. And lastly, Padma, how are you managing with working parents? So I think that's why we, again, another reason why we didn't go down the live teaching route was so that parents can dip in and out as suits them to work around their working commitments as well. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. If you have any further questions that you think about after this webinar, please do email me with anything that you need. My email is on this screen now. And as mentioned before, I would love to continue this collaboration where we're all learning from each other. So I have set up a Padlet to share best practice. So please do contribute to this and use it as a resource over the next few weeks. I will send through this the Padlet and a link to a recording of this webinar and the previous one as well. And that's everything from me. So thank you so much for your time and for your engagement. I really do hope it was useful for you and your school. And I really do look forward to continuing the collaboration further. As previously mentioned, I do plan to run more webinars in the future. So your feedback would be much appreciated so that I can ensure that they are as good as they can be and as useful as possible to you all. So I'll send back around the feedback form after this, but the QR code for that is just there on the screen. So thanks again and all the best to you and your schools, wherever you are in the world. And good luck with everything. And please do get in touch if you need anything at all. Thank you guys. Thank you.